Welcome to Airgun Extra, brought to you in association with Crackshot, the Southwest's premier airgun centre and ranges. In this week's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at a brilliant affordable PCP, but before that, I'm heading out on a woodland hunt where I'm going to be using stalking and hide tactics. Still there. Well, that is a great start to the session and a brilliant start to the first outing with the DRS Tactical. So basically we're out in the woods, as you can see. Thought we'd kick off with a bit of a rove around. As much as anything, right, it's not as productive as shooting from a hide, but it's a little bit more interesting, and if nothing else, you get to see a bit more of your shoot. But as I said, off to a cracking start. Shot very quickly, about 30 metres. Nice clean kill. That squirrel's dropped like a stone, so I'm going to get it picked up, and then we will head on and rove along a bit further and probably end up in the hide. Right, well, we've not had anything else since that first squirrel, which I'm not entirely surprised by, because stalking is a challenge, and although we've got some noise from quite a busy road here masking the sound of our approach, these rides are quite open, so there's not a lot of cover. I had expected that we might have encountered one or two squirrels out nibbling at buds, which you often find them doing at this time of year, probably what that first one was doing, but we've not seen any more, so I think we probably need some more attraction. And as I've got feeders, or a feeder, set up in these woods, I think we'll head over to there. Now, I've shot it a few times recently, and it's been quite productive. Interestingly, and as I'm finding increasingly the case though, the squirrels are turning up very late, and I think that's because there are a lot of buzzards around here and they're just afraid of getting bumped off. So I've been shooting them right up pretty much until nightfall. Hopefully we'll get a few before then. had a feeling that that one wasn't going to settle on the feeder, and the way it just froze on the tree trunk was suggested to me that it knew we were here, so I just went ahead and took the shot. And another one. Now it's probably worth pointing out that we've hardly had any small birds visiting the feeder today, apart from a few just picking up crumbs that the squirrels have obviously left behind, and it's because there's a lid on the feed tray and they can't get to the peanuts. Now you'll see in the footage that I've actually got 2 feeders here. I put, apart from my proper feeder, I put up an old wooden one because I was going to be away for a few days and I wanted the extra capacity so that the peanuts didn't run out. Now, I've shot here a few times with both feeders running, and when there were peanuts in that wooden one, because there's no lid, the small birds were absolutely hammering it and taking a lot of peanuts. Now, as I've said, on the metal feeder there's a lid and they don't seem to be able to get into that, and I assume it's probably saving me a few quid. Another one there that didn't want to settle on the feeder, but didn't get away with it. I'm actually going to make that the last one, because before long we're going to start to struggle with the cameras in the fading light, although I've got to say the Sidewinder is still doing very well, even with the scope cam attachment on it. I've seen fewer squirrels this evening than I've seen here over the past couple of weeks, and that's a good sign. It shows that I'm starting to knock into them, but now is the time to really crack down and obviously keep coming until the squirrels stop visiting this feeder, until there are basically none left in this area, then move the feeder on and start targeting another patch. So as I said, we'll wrap it up there, but we will leave you with a roundup that we've already shot of the main kit that I've been using for this shoot. Okay, so before we head out on our evening on the grey squirrels, I'll just give you a quick run through the main kit. So the gun is the FX DRS Tactical. I've got this gun on review and just couldn't resist taking it out on a hunting session after it's performed brilliantly on the range, so had to bring it out this evening. As you can see, as its name suggests, this is a very tactically styled airgun, certainly built for functionality, this platform. Typical of the DRS platform, it's got the air cylinder that wraps around the barrel. The plenum is disguised as what looks like the magazine that you'd get on a powder burning rifle. It's got a full length Arca rail. Now, in all honesty, I'm going to be using trigger sticks for this session, so that's not going to fully exploit the sort of stability that you could get with this rail if you were using a proper clamping rest, which would make it absolutely rock solid. Interesting thing with the DRS Tactical is that it comes supplied without the buttstock, so basically that gives you the choice of whatever buttstock you want to fit it with, just adding to the versatility of this platform. Ammo wise, I have paired it with QYS streamlined heavy pellets. Gun's 177 caliber, sub 12. It really likes these pellets, very, very accurate with them. The scope is my ever faithful Hawk Sidewinder, held on with Sports Match scope mounts, and I've chosen this scope for this evening mostly because of its brilliant low light performance. It is a pin sharp scope, but It's brilliant twilight, dusk conditions, and quite often I'm finding that squirrels are venturing out later and later, in these woods particularly to avoid predatory birds of prey. So I'm hoping that that low light performance is going to prove very worthwhile this evening. The other really significant piece of kit, I suppose, is my feeder. It's a feeder I've got absolute faith in, I've been using a lot lately. It's the one from Keith's High Seats. It's super tough, it's got decent capacity, and most importantly, Keith Watson, who makes these feeders, does a lot of grey squirrel control, so he just knows what works in terms of delivering a decent feeder. Small features like the lid that prevents birds from stealing your peanuts, in the long run it saves you a lot of money. And incidentally, Keith's going to be at the stalking show soon, so if you're there, do pay him a visit and have a look at those feeders in the flesh. So that's the kit. I'm going to get on with the shoot now, and hopefully we'll put it to good use. Airgun Extra now has a Facebook page which we will use to keep you informed and to host some great competitions, so do give us a follow. Next up, I'm taking a look at a brilliant affordable PCP from Reximex. The Reximex Myth has made quite a name for itself over the past few years, and rightly so. It's a decent airgun at a good price. Now, several different variants have cropped up, and what I have here is the new Myth Lite. Distributed in the UK by Rangerite, it has a recommended retail price of just £350, and it offers some interesting twists on the original. This is a mid-sized airgun with a very tough ambidextrous synthetic stock. It weighs about 3 kilos, which should make it manageable for shooters of most sizes. And I've got to say, thanks to all of its adjustability, I found it to handle and fit very well. And its futuristic styling is pretty kind on the eye. You will probably have noticed that the familiar looking bottle is missing from the butt section, and instead on this model you have quite a tactical looking buttstock, and it gives you adjustable length of pull between 32 and 39 centimeters. Now, adjusting that butt section in and out obviously also adjusts the overall length, and that is from 82 centimeters to 89 centimeters, which is still a pretty compact airgun. All you do is hold in the button and that butt section slides in and out between 5 different stop points. The chunky butt pad is made from rubber and feels very secure in the shoulder. Now, you've also got quite a lot of adjustability in the cheek support. Now, it's adjustable forwards and backwards, so it's always in the right place for you. But it also has a push button mechanism that enables you to adjust it up and down. So with all of that adjustability, it's very simple to achieve a good fit and good eye scope alignment. The fore end is nice and long, and it features a QD stud and a removable Picatinny accessory rail. That has some large panels of stippling to improve grip, and that same stippling also wraps right around the pistol grip. That pistol grip features a nice shelf at the base, and it's really nicely sculpted to cradle your hand and guide you straight towards the trigger. Now there is a little bit of play in the rear section of the stock, but that isn't exceptional when it comes to adjustable stocks, and it didn't affect my hold when shooting it. Now overall build quality is actually very good, especially when you consider how affordable this gun is. It feels to be very solidly constructed, and the metalwork has a tidy black finish. Scope attachment is via a dual rail system that can accept Picatinny or dovetail mounts and gives you about 140 millimeters of clamping space. Now, as is often the case these days, that rail is interrupted by the magazine. However, the mag doesn't stand proud by much more than about 10 millimeters, so you don't need exceptionally high mounts to clear it. The Myth Lite has a 380 millimeter barrel, which has a retainer at the front of the cylinder and comes fitted with what I would describe as a fairly small muzzle weight. Now, muzzle report does have a bit of a bite to it, but the barrel is threaded 1/2 inch UNF for quick and easy silencer attachment. Now, the Myth Lite comes supplied with 2 magazines and a single shot tray. These tried and tested magazines are easy to load and also incorporate a counter so you can keep an eye on how many pellets you have left. The mag on the .22 caliber test gun holds 12 pellets, and there's also a 177 option with a magazine capacity of 14 pellets. That magazine is driven by a very reliable side lever mechanism. Now, I found it to be very well positioned, but it isn't reversible for left-handers. However, its action is very, very good, and I particularly like the fact that it's got a sprung mechanism that starts to ping back as soon as you begin the rearward stroke. The Myth Lite's match type trigger blade is great, and it's adjustable for height and angle. Now, as a lot of you will probably know, I like to test triggers straight out of the box because a lot of shooters don't like to mess about with fettling triggers, particularly those that are likely to opt for a more affordable airgun. So this one is a 2-stage unit, but I have to say, on this particular gun, the first stage was so short that I could only just about tell it was there. Nonetheless, there is a very clear stop point, and the second stage break is way cleaner than I would expect on a gun of this price. It's crisp and utterly predictable. The safety catch is of the cross bolt type, and it's nicely positioned just above and behind the trigger blade, which makes it very easy to access. You push it across from the left to make it safe, and then you simply pop it back across from the right when you're ready to take the shot. In terms of power, the .22 caliber test gun is churning out a muzzle energy of around 11.5 foot-pounds, and it's doing it pretty consistently, remaining within 6 feet per second over a 10-shot string. However, it isn't regulated in the true sense, so you will notice a subtle power curve as you work your way through the charge. So the Myth Lite has a power adjustment dial with 9 different stop points. Now, apart from enabling you to wind down output, maybe for plinking in a small garden, it also means that you can tweak muzzle velocity, which could actually improve performance with different pellets. Maximum fill pressure is 200 bar, and pressure within the cylinder is displayed on a clearly marked gauge on the right hand side of the stock. Now, you can expect the best part of 70 shots per fill. Now, although that isn't the highest shot count, that should be more than adequate in most scenarios. When it is time to refill, you simply pop the cap off the front of the cylinder and couple up with the supplied connector. The last version of the Reximex Myth that I reviewed was very accurate, and this one has also cut it on the range. Now, it's unreasonable to expect an airgun of this price to deliver match-winning accuracy, but this one really has impressed me, and that very crisp, creep-free trigger has played a big part in that. Shooting from the bench It's single holing at 25 metres and still comfortably grouping within 20 millimetres centre to centre at 30 metres. Pushing it out to 40 metres, those groups are opening up a little bit more, but shooting from support, you're still talking headshots on live quarry. So that is the Reximex Myth Lite. It's a very solid and pretty accurate pre-charged airgun, which comes in at well under £400. Now it should deliver the goods whether you want it for plinking or pest control, and all of that adjustability in the butt section means that it will fit you well however big or small you are. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this week, but I'll be back with more in a fortnight. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks also to Crackshot. If you want to check out their website, there's a link in the show description. So until we're back, there are plenty of articles on hunting and reviews that you can access for free on our website airgunextra.com. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, enjoy your shooting and stay safe.